Hey, hello everyone, здравствуйте, товарищи, это Сергей, канал другая. Oh, it's a channel, almost called my Russian channel. Anyways, this is Ushanka Show. Welcome to my live. Although right now I got 31,692 subscribers, I would like to dedicate this live to 30,000 level. Hi guys, I see we already got five people joining. Thanks for joining this afternoon. I'm impressed that you decided to uh, watch my live show instead of watching NASCAR. So as always, I'm gonna launch my your live so I can see your comments on the computer. Someone tell me "до свидания." "До свидания" means goodbye. So if you wanna greet me, you should say hello, здравствуйте или привет. And the way to remember "до свидания", it sounds like "don't spit Anya." So this is when you say goodbye. Don't spit Anya. Another Soviet phrase you can remember really easily. Uh, Please play Crisis in the Kremlin when your schedule permits. Thank you for your donation. Sorry, we just internet got lost for a second. We should be back. Uh, we got Jackie was in Kiev recently, beautiful city. I hope you didn't suffer from weather because I think they had really hot weather these days and there's not a lot of air conditioning going on. But yeah, I agree. Kiev is a really beautiful city. I would say it's probably number two after St. Petersburg. And you know, if the Crisis in the Kremlin will be maybe like you can play and be done in several hours, but if it's like a long game, that'd be quite a challenge. We may try, but so with my schedule and with my family life, it's pretty challenging. And actually, a lot of people started mentioning Kiev. I am planning to go to Ukraine in the end of August. I'm taking my son. Uh, were you Gopnik when you were younger? No, I'm a nerd guy. Nerds are not Gopniks. And Gopnik is like, I guess, a Soviet Russian version of bad guys. And when the life got a little bit worse, they started, harassing people, demanding money and cash. So I never was Gopnik. Although I like Adidas brand, I used to. Now I like, I prefer Puma, but I used to like. Uh, all right, so I think you need to offer an apology to your Polish viewers regards your comment that Poland was aggressive towards Ukraine. Well, if I was talking in general historical terms, historically Ukraine was slammed from by Poland, Austrian-Hungarian Empire from west, and from Russia in the east. Like modern situation, I appreciate that Poland didn't agree with Russia because Russia kind of offered, hey, we're gonna take all the eastern part, and you guys can take the western part because Ukraine is artificial state and it doesn't deserve to exist. And the Polish people, Polish country said no. But if you look at the history, all the Western Ukraine was under Poland. So, if the country named Poland owns the area they called Western Ukraine, you know, it tells you that it's probably they took over it. But, it is what it is. There's a lot of, every country pretty much has a bad story, bad blood with the neighbors. Hardly any country in Europe didn't have any issues. So, Uh, why do some people refer Ukraine and the Ukraine, and is insult? It's a good question. Why no one says the Russia or the Poland, just the Ukraine? This is kind of similar situation with in Russian language. When you say that you live in Ukraine, we used to say in Russian "na Ukraiне," like on Ukraine. So that sounds like an outskirts, like na окраине. And now people like Ukrainians said the proper way to say it's you live in Ukraine, so в Ukraине. But there's a huge like from the Russian side, people like no, it's not the proper way to say it. You're supposed to say still on Ukraine. So I think the correct way should be the not the but just Ukraine, because then I don't know which country you call besides if it's a the UK or the US because it's abbreviation. Um, so it should be just Ukraine without the. And you remind me back when we were like started studying English a little bit. We had this joke. So if you see something that you don't like, you think it's crappy, you say, "Well, that's the Melo." The Philippines. I don't know if you, when you look at the islands, you may say the Philippines, but I'm not sure if you say it like as a country. This is a couple situations when there's an island and the name of the country is the same, but I'm not like really English proficient person, if you understand. What was the public opinion in the USSR about Cuba? Uh, well, of course, that was, we were really proud and supportive of Cuba because it's a small country that really stick to the imperialistic America. So during the Soviet Union, because there was a lot of propaganda that they're a little proud nation that stands up to uh, hello, Mr. Pavlusa from Stalingrad. Um, so we were supportive, of course, and my father, godfather, got sent to Cuba. He stayed there for a year helping locals. I don't know doing what, but I remember when he came back, he kind of shared, said, "Yeah, we were impressed with the local workers. They were all like manana, manana, quite lazy people." That's what he said. That's all I remember. But yeah, we were supportive of Cuba, and I collected postal stamps, and the Cuban stamps were quite cool. Hey, we got almost 100 people watching, but only 23 likes. That's not great, but not terrible, I guess. So you guys can put the like. Um, yeah, and that's why you see Zhigulis in Cuba. We were sending a lot of cars, and we're buying sugar above world market prices to support it. I didn't own any cars in Soviet Union, so I was on a list, waiting list. I was waiting for 9 years. For if you want to buy Lada, and my turn never came. Soviet Union collapsed, so I never had a chance to buy a car. And later, I decided I don't really need it. Um, okay, so we got another question and donation from Dr. Velbel. Thank you for your support. And did Soviets have their version of Soviet dream, like ideal happy life and have all the things like American dream? I guess we didn't have like this official, like in America, it's a lot in the show UK. You're supposed to have like a boy and a girl, 3 kids, a dog, nice house in suburbia. So that's kind of like American dream, reliable job, whatever. In Soviet Union, if you achieve good levels, so you have your own apartment. That's of course first step, and then you should have a dacha, so you have some kind of little house or just a plot of land out of city that you go there and you have a little garden and then you can hang out, maybe go fishing. Definitely, Soviet dream will be ultimate Soviet dream that you own a car, and especially if you own Lada, like Zhiguli. This is like, yeah, this guy is really uh, achieved something. Doesn't matter, profession wise. As I mentioned many times, a lot of things were backwards. So, for example, waitresses, butchers, um, taxi drivers were making way more money than engineers or doctors. So, you know, so I guess that will be the Soviet dream: is a nice apartment in a good location, a car, and dacha. Of course, you can't say about traveling abroad because it was challenging. Thank you, Jackie, for 10 pounds. Wow, we got even pounds. That's awesome. Thank you for your support. And we got the 5 Canadian dollars from Mr. JR9979. And his question: at what time did electronic video games come to USSR Russia, and did you play any? Yeah, this is video people, a lot of people asking me about it, but unfortunately, I'm totally not like I didn't have it. It was really expensive, hard to get. The first electronic game I can think of in Soviet Union, there was a little handheld device, and I think I posted links. It's kind of cool. It's a little electronic device, and you're catching eggs. It's a game. So there's like this rabbit, and there's a eggs falling off, and I'll put link below this video about it. And you can just catch an eggs, and of course it's getting more complicated, and then you gotta go faster. Personally, my very first experience with video game was a Sega Mega Drive. I think it was around 91, 90, probably 92 or 93. I went to Moscow and actually stayed with American family. I'm gonna make a video about it because that was the first time I had a glimpse into American life. Like first time I saw side by side refrigerator in my life, and it was like you open it like there's gates to heaven. You know, like you have a half of the refrigerator, it's all freezer and have big chunks of ice, big boxes of ice cream, and the Americans were buying water in the supermarket. That was just a shock. So that, yeah, that was after Soviet Union collapsed because that was they already had a finished supermarket. So they had a Sega Mega Drive for their kid. So one evening we played some Terminator game, like I don't know how many hours, just non-stop. And so that was my first experience with video games, and wasn't Soviet video game. And then of course, then we had a oh my god, Chris from Scotland. Hello Chris, how are you? Okay, we got 129 people and 58 likes. Thank you guys for joining. It's real nice. Who got you to see the film Moscow on Hudson? Well, that movie I watched when I was still back in the Soviet Union. Uh, at that time, I'm not sure what year that movie, but we had the so-called video salon, so like video saloon, so like I don't know how to call it, but you pay a ruble and you go watch videos, and it would be like some imported movies like from America, whatever. And that's when we watched Moscow and Hudson, and of course, all the part about Moscow, we thought it was ridiculous. Like I made a video about a long time ago. Like we don't store vodka in a refrigerator. I mean, like I understand there's some stereotypes about Soviet Union, but not vodka in a refrigerator. Would never like you just keep vodka at the room temperature and you drink it at room temperature. We got Guinness Buddha. We got $5 donation. Thank you so much. Hi Sergey. Thanks for days of educational entertainment over the past 3 years. You're welcome. I don't know if I'm good about entertainment because one of my problems, like when I say the joke, people think I'm serious, and when I'm serious, people think I'm making jokes. I run into at work quite often because my facial expression don't change much. So quite often I'll say something like I'm thinking, hey, there's a good joke, and people look at me like I'm weirdo, and then I'll say something seriously, and they're like, well, this is the funniest thing we ever heard in our lives. So, okay, we got Vincencio Dennis. Thank you for your donation. Do peasants illegally sell vegetables they plant at home to earn extra money in USSR? And they do, how they usually sell them. Wasn't really illegal at that time. I did a bonus video from one of my previous videos. So like they have a specific areas when they're allowed to sell, like bazaars, and people would just come to bazaars, usually on the weekend, but some were all selling there all, day, every day in the week. So you bring your goods and you sell. When later, when the Soviet Union collapsed and the financial situations got bad, so people would just, they'll be like this stihийный рынок, they call it. So like a, oh, what the word, not the random, but just people like, okay, they know there's a good area next to the bus stop. There's several buses stop and maybe tramway. So there's a lot of traffic. So the person just brings bags with their potatoes or tomatoes. They just set it up there, start selling. And then other people gather, and then you have this little bazaar, which is not like controlled by anybody. There's no inspections. But of course, there's a local cop who will show up and start harassing people. So there'll be, of course, system like they'll, pitch in a couple of rubles and give the guy some money, so you just leave us alone, and maybe kind of actually protect us if there's anybody else will be harassing. So during the Soviet Union, it wasn't like really illegal. They had bazaars. Otherwise, we would be probably starving Because I remember reading somewhere that 80% of potatoes grown in the Soviet Union, they were grown on private lots. So that's how effective were the collective farms. And there were so many losses in the products that no one cared. So yes. Okay, I'm gonna try to catch up with other your questions. Thank you again to everyone for joining. Thank you, comrades. To we're moving along. We actually have Daniel Schmidt from Brazil. It's interesting, Brazil, but you have a German last name, so you probably somehow your relatives escaped from Germany. I wonder when. But thank you for joining. Brazil, it's really cool. Why are Ukrainian women so hot? Uh, okay, the main reason they are skinny, and that's pretty much a kind of. I watched some women here in the United States who were used to be really cute or pretty, and then they, had a kid, had a second kid. They kind of started gaining weight. The next thing you see, they're not that attractive. Um, so a lot of it, I think, it's not about like your pretty face, but if you're generally skinny, have a nice body, it's maybe if you're not really attractive, what is that English and American expression? Butter face, everything but her face. So if you have a fabulous legs, nice curvy body that takes attention away from the face, and then of course if you know how to use makeup, I used to date a girl back in Ukraine for a short period of time, and I thought she was like a model. She was so pretty, and I was actually even afraid to approach her. But we ended up dating. But then when I saw her in the morning without makeup, and I was like, where this huge nose came from? Like I don't remember seeing it before. So uh, a lot of it, of course, it's a good applying of makeup, and then if you're just skinny. So that's my personal opinion. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I actually noticed that girls are getting a little bit on the chubby side in Ukraine because there's more cars, they walk less. So Canary Islands, holy cow, we got even viewers from Canary Islands. But we definitely would like to have at least 100 likes. We got only 82 right now, so don't forget click likes. It actually helps the video to go up in this mystery YouTube ratings, which is I still can't crack. Okay, I'll see if I can catch up with other questions. Why does the same word grad means city and means hail? Okay, grad is actually like a modern meaning is hail. Long time ago, it's like a old timer word. It was grad, like it's like some words you don't use anymore. So that word was grad, like Leningrad. Same, it's similar to German Burg, right? I don't know how they say city on a everyday basis, but there's always Hamburg, whatever Burg, right? So Burg is kind of like a town. So Russian version is Grad. So you got Leningrad, Kaliningrad. That means town. But normally Grad and everyday use in it means hail. So said it's just the old word. Is your father-in-law watching it now or falling asleep at NASCAR? No, I just had someone commented that they would like to watch my live, but because there's a NASCAR at 3 p.m. on Sundays, they will be watching NASCAR. I don't think my father-in-law watching NASCAR. He's just watching news all day long. Hello from UK. Okay, so we're catching up. Silicon Valley. Hello, Steve. How are you? Okay, we're moving along. I'm right now a little bit behind your questions. Hello from Romania, 10 p.m. So yeah, I'm trying to work the schedule like for my lives, so I can sometimes even get viewers from Australia, sometimes get viewers from Europe, and sometimes just do evenings. So we got our spoiled Americans and Canadians friends that can watch me. So it looks like quite a few people went to Kiev recently. I said I'll be heading out there on August 18. I'm gonna stay with my mom out in the country. Hello and love from Sweden. Hello, Demetrius. Okay, moving. What do you think of the storm area 51? I just saw the news that There's a lot of people gathering there demanding open it up and show what's going on in there, and that'll be interesting. I remember there was a movie a long time ago. That was a pretty good show. Uh, Hi Sergey, I have a question about USSR. During the winter in general, how often did power outages occur? During the Soviet Union, I honestly don't recall much power outages. I remember at least one for sure, but usually grid like in a big city was pretty reliable. Right now things getting really worse because a lot of people started putting air conditioners in their apartments. We'd never had air conditioners before, so during the hot summer days, the grid just getting overloaded, and they started just cutting off like they what they call them, browns or something like. So you just shut off the area of the city. You don't provide power, so grid remains online. But during Soviet Union, I recall there was one time I remember my mom for the first time decided to try a recipe like some really complicated Napoleon cake. You can look it up. It's online called Napoleon. It's like multi-layer cake. My mom like cooked because she had to cook. So and power went out middle of that, so we had to have candles on. And I think that kind of broke her back. She's like, forget about all this fancy cooking because she had to end up that recipe in the candle lights, and it wasn't that fantastic, and she wasted so much time. Okay, we had a donation from somebody from Poland. Thank you so much. So yeah, you can support my channel anytime you want. You can do this super chat magic thing and throw some money my way. Just want to share some news. I am planning to make a video about sexual education in the Soviet Union, and I bet 100% chance that will get demonetized. So, but I'm gonna jump on that demonetization grenade because I think its topic is pretty interesting. Topic by itself, there is not much to it because we really didn't have any sexual education, but I have a really good stories that come with it. So uh, I appreciate your support in my channel because there's this fine line. You know, a lot of the YouTubers, the main strategy right now is making viral videos. So you just see what topic right now is popular. Like by accident, I got into the Chernobyl topic in the right time, was the right title, and it's helped my channel to grow immensely. So logically, I should be just keep on pumping out the Chernobyl videos, keep on ironing it till while it's hot. But I don't want to do it because then I feel like I'm a YouTube prostitute. I'm just doing just for the money. So I decided, okay, we're gonna try to have a kind of balanced and cover a lot of topics. And like sex ed and Soviet Union is a really good topic, but I know it's doomed for any chance of monetization because YouTube is pretty strict. I just recently my video about Amish. I hope you guys enjoyed the video about the Amish straw that broke my Russian back, Soviet back. That video was demonetized for quite till it reached over 1,000 views, and then they finally sent me uh, notification like, "Hey, congratulations, your video is good." I was like, I knew it was good, but you had it blocked right away. Like second it got uploaded, it was already blocked, and then it waits till it will be 1,000 views, then waits till someone available to look at it manually, confirm, yeah, this guy is not talking any crap. So anyway, so this is what's going on with my channel. I said I don't want to follow this hyping and viral videos. I just want to cover different topics, and so you guys learn something and have some fun along the way. I probably need to make a couple more videos about Soviet jokes. So, all right, almost 200 viewers today, and 117 likes. Thank you so much. This live will be only 1 hour because my wife is kind of like you are spending every weekend doing lives. Last time I got a little bit crazy and did 2 hours. That was a little bit too much, but I truly enjoyed hanging out with you guys. It was a lot of fun. Okay, hello from Columbus. Wearing Ushanka Show shirt, sipping vodka from the mug. Wow. So yeah, if you're not don't know yet, I got a little shop open at teespring.com, and there's a different items you can purchase with my Ushanka Show logo if you want to. I got coffee mugs, got stickers, and all kind of goodies. Actually, right now I'm wearing a T-shirt from my Russian channel. Check it out. My Russian channel called Drugaya America, the other America, and this logotype is done in style of the Soviet newspapers. So check this out. Um, but anyway, I need to order myself my own Ushanka Show, at least coffee mug, so I can sip thing. Okay, so people asking, show us Ukraine. Yeah, I'm planning to make some videos while I'm there, but there is this fine line. If you go somewhere to record it, like as a blogger, I'm going there to visit my relatives and hang out with my. Um, Thank you for $10 donation from Strilok. Awesome channel, Bratan. I always like when people mix the Russian and English channel. Thank you so much. I'm not sure why Super Chat sometimes shows donation in yellow color, sometimes in green. But thank you so much for your support. I'm glad you guys like my channel. So yeah, so if I just do constantly, walk everywhere with the camera, my kid will be annoyed because he wants to spend time with his father, but his father always behind the camera filming something. So I'm trying to kind of find this fine balance that I still can, have vacation and record a couple things here and there. And quite often I got requests about which places to visit in Kiev, in general in Ukraine. So I probably will have to make um, video about it just so I can just send people, hey, go, there's my video, what I personally would recommend to see in Kiev or around Kiev. Okay, there's a question. Did anyone smoke weed, I guess, cannabis that you know of? No, all my friends were nerds, so there was probably something like that available, but most people just went for drinking. I think quite a few soldiers that went to Afghanistan, they learned to smoke stuff there and use other drugs. So I think a lot of it came from Afghanistan, from those guys who served there. If the Cold War got hot, do you think USSR could have won? There's a question and donation. Thank you so much. There's no one would win at that time. I mean, we had a MAD situation, right? The MAD, mutually assured destruction. So if the war would get hot and you know military start pushing the red buttons, I mean we're gonna just wipe out the whole population. There'll be the end of it. And it's like I think one of the mistakes that Soviet Union made, instead of trying to compete with America on гонка вооружения, they call it, like weapons race. You just create enough warheads like that. Say, okay, you can't mess with us. We got plenty, and then just the rest of the money should go towards the economy. But they were keeping building thousands of tanks and other military. Like pretty much every factory in Soviet Union was making something for the military. It was so called военка. Um, so like even the factory my dad worked, they were like servicing and making elevators. They're doing some stuff for military too, like painting their trucks. Have you seen the channel Life of Boris? No, I don't really watch anybody else. I don't like his style. I looked at, sometimes it pops in my uh, uh, like recommended videos, but I don't like what he does. Just it's for different viewers. Me. My channel is like a library. His channel is like a Gopnik party. So I mean you can learn something there. Uh, Hello, I've got Dream Cars join us. Здравствуйте, товарищи, здравствуйте. I'm glad you guys learning some Russian with me. Hello from Buenos Aires. We have that sex ed video. Okay, so we have a first donation for the sex ed video from Argentina. Muchas gracias. Appreciate it. Me gusta Chichis grandes. That can we can start the sex ed video with that Spanish phrase. I learned that while I was picking apples with my comrades from Mexico. Was okay, so we had a donation from Sean Thomas, £2. Was KGB really just a circle of accountability? KGB was, I don't know how to compare it, but they penetrated pretty much the all levels of population for the control, like mind control, especially like intelligentsia, professors, any creators. So that'll be actually interesting if they will ever open up their archives so we can see how badly it was. Like I know Stasi in East Germany, I mean, those guys were really uh, controlling everyone hardcore. I don't think KGB was that much, but I can only tell what I know, and quite often people think if I lived in Soviet Union, I know everything about Soviet Union. A lot of things, of course, I don't know, especially when it comes to KGB and stuff like that. Steve Sayevich, thank you for your donation. And the question: what do you think about situation in Crimea? I am confused person about Crimea. What Russia did was wrong, in my personal opinion. And if you watch what Putin was talking about Crimea, initial story was like, well, there was people there. They made decision. They didn't like what happened in Kiev. They Yanukovych was kicked out, and the junta they call it. So coup and a Nazi Ukrainian uh, junta took over. So we want to go back to Russia. But then later he admitted that, hey, we actually, yeah, there were our troops were there. We came to support, but it wasn't planned. We just kind of like, oh crap, we need to support our brothers. So we just, no military operation happens without any planning. I think those things were in the works and they were preparing for a while. But on the other hand, if people's life in Crimea got better, you know, this is kind of the whole thing. Now I'm looking like what good happened to Ukraine after independence. We had really high hopes, but most people live really not a good life. So I won't be surprised. A lot of people right now planning to just they won't mind if the Russia will take over all over the whole Ukraine, except probably the western part. Those guys have different mentality. People will be like, might as well if you give us better salaries. A lot of people just they don't care who is actually running the show. This is pretty much people who corrupt government speak Ukrainian or corrupt government gonna speak Russian but give you more bonds. They'll share more bonds with you. But it was a legal act. I mean, we had an agreement that Ukraine will transfer all the military, all the nuclear weapons to Russia. In exchange, Russia and America kind of guarantee Ukrainian territories, but it didn't happen. So that's my thought on that. And it's really touchy topic. So, okay, so love your videos from Athens, Greece. Thank you, Anta. I hope you guys doing okay in Greece. You just had the bad earthquake. I was in Greece in May. It was pretty cool. I like it a lot. What type of vodka do you drink? I drink Sobieski Polish vodka. I find it really smooth and really inexpensive. It's like $11 a bottle. US clown politics make you long for a single party? No, it makes me long for more parties than two parties because right now this two-party system is a joke. It's pretty much one coin with two different sides, and you flip this way or that way, but it's the same coin and the same people own the coin. So I'm hardcore hoping that we will get a third party and fourth party. Then it might get better, but it's kind of it looks scary right now. Trump was elected for a reason. There's a lot of upset people that want to burn the whole house down, and which is Trump kind of doing. But where you gonna live if your house is all burned down? Okay, so we're moving along. We got almost 200 up 200 viewers, 133 likes. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Trying to catch up with your questions. One of the popular question is about were you ever in the USSR Army? No, first I went to college, then my eyesight is too poor, so I wasn't fit for the active military duty. We got a donation from Guinness Buddha. I'm visiting Georgia. Have you been in Georgia? I will be in Belize and Batumi. Nope, never had a chance to be in Georgia. I know there's a lot of cool places to visit, beautiful mountains and stuff, so I hope you're gonna enjoy it. Um, Unfortunately, the only southern kind of republic I visited was Azerbaijan. I was in Baku in late 80s. Um, I think Georgia will be. I don't know if you're. Sorry, I didn't pay attention. Can't say Guinness Buddha is that a male or female. Georgians historically used to be quite aggressive towards ladies. So if you're a female, then kind of be ready for that. Have you seen a documentary Active Measures? Lisa just donated a little bit. Thank you so much for your support. No, I don't know what his active measures are. I said I don't watch much TV, but hey, guess what? Yesterday, me and my wife we watched Top Gun, and I didn't realize that was 1986 movie. It was so cheesy, and I was like, I can't remember. I remember watching it back in the Soviet Union, and we thought, I mean, besides part when they supposedly fight in Soviet airplanes in the end, we thought it was a cool show, but that was so cheesy. It was so funny how much things changed. But yeah, we watched Top Gun last night. All the music, although I still like that song, "Take My Breath Away." That was cool. Okay, trying to catch up with your questions. 140 likes, about 200 views, and we have already $100 in donation. Thank you guys so much. Well, I definitely will be making sex ed video. I will try to make it so it's pleasant for your eyes and interesting to listen. But I said I know that YouTube gonna cut me off for monetization. Did Soviet media, news and media tell average people about the U.S. successful moon landing? You know, I don't know because that happened before I was born. They probably mentioned it on the third page. You know, everything what Soviet Union achieved was on the first page, and it probably I can't tell you what it was exactly. We can look it up, try to Google it. But we have this famous joke. You know how the Soviet media presented Soviet Union versus America. So you know you have a 100-meter race. You know American versus Soviet. So you know American won. Soviet took second place. So Americans, of course, would be like, "Hey, you know, America is the best. We took a gold, all good, you know." And the Soviet media presented. They said our um, runner took us highly desirable second place. An American runner crossed the finish line right before the last guy. So this is how the media usually presented anything that was. So you can say you can skip the saying he was first. You can say if two people race, you can say he crossed the finish line right before the last guy, and you know it sounds completely different. But this is kind of was our humor, how Soviet media uh, tr- showed the American successes. Okay, we're moving along. A lot of Cubans also still live in the former USSR. Honestly, I have no idea. Never met Cubans in the Soviet Union. Was that my godfather spent the year? Actually, my dad had a chance to go to Cuba same time as my because they were same factory. There was actually at that time it was a Antonov airplane factory, but my mom for some reason didn't let him. He was like upset for many years that my mom for some reason they let him go to Cuba. Which I'm like looking back like mom, why? He could go. Especially if you work in another country, you earn foreign currency. So my dad could bring some cool stuff. Okay. Were most guys conscripted into army at 18 or was there ways to avoid serving? I'm planning to make a video about military service, but I'm kind of scared to start because it's a huge topic, and I didn't serve in military, but there are of course the ways, medical reasons you can fake some disease, or if you have a friends and doctors, they can maybe find like that your foot has a what is that like Trump had. So there's ways to dodge the military service if you really want it. The easiest way would be to go to some colleges, like a state level colleges, like they have their. Then you don't go to military. You just become like an officer in reserve after graduating from the college. You do some kind of military training, but you skip spending 2 years in army. Or you can have two kids before you're 18, and then you won't get sent to army. Please tell us about Russian in Odessa Oblast. We all knew about Crimea, but what Russian minority in Odessa? I have no idea. Actually, there was one of my viewers. He's American, but he lives in Odessa. I know that the Russian, we call them separatists. So there was a kind of like a uprising in Odessa too. And I don't want to get into the topic because I'm not familiar, but there was a lot of Russian operatives working in different cities, and they failed in Odessa. And of course, Odessa is still under Ukrainian control. So I don't know what's going on in Odessa. I know the new Ukrainian president was there recently, and Odessa is like one of the most corrupted cities in Ukraine because they got port, so got a lot of goods going in and out, a lot of contraband. So there's a lot of money being made there and a lot of money being stolen. Actually, I invested some of my privatization Ukrainian certificates into Odessa Portovy refrigeration unit and never got a single penny from it. It was ironic for Fidel Castro to die on Black Friday. Yeah, it was ironic that Fidel Castro lived longer than like so many United States presidents. That guy was a long lasted for a long time. What was the media coverage like on foreign space programs? As I said, not much. I mean, at that time, Soviet Union was doing so much in space that there was like looking at the other guys in the back mirror because a lot of things that the Soviet Union did was kind of like better, I would say. For example, the idea to have a permanent space station instead of like shuttles going up and down. Now everyone agreed that's the best way of exploring space, and that's what Soviets came up first. Okay, got another donation from Murthy. Thank you so much. Hey Ushanka, thanks for your videos. Super chat has different colors for different donation amounts. Thanks. Oh, see? I don't know. I guess green. So we got blue, green, and yellow. So I guess yellow is a bigger amount, and red one will be like big chunk of cash. Okay, got it. Oh, we got another explanation. So red is oh, okay. So hey, so like a stoplight, right? It's like a traffic light. Green uh, is small, blue is tiny, yellow is medium, and krasny red is huge. Okay, thank you for explaining that. Now I know because I'm like, I hope I'm not missing something. But anyway, thank you so much for your guys' support. We got 200 viewers, 153 likes. We should have same amount of likes than viewers. That'll be cool. But I just want to thank you again for joining. This is so awesome. This modern technology blows my mind, honestly. I used to talk to my mother in Ukraine when I was in Michigan in 1995 for 59 seconds because there was $3 a minute. And so I had a list and I would read news for 30 seconds and mom will tell me, I'll let her first tell me news for 30 seconds, then I'll tell her news for 29 seconds, and I hang up on the 59 second because it was so expensive. And now we're talking live to the whole world. We got people from all over the place. It's crazy. We got another donation. Thank you so much, Mr. J. Hey, Sergey, do you remember hearing anything about band Kino when you lived in USSR? Oh, heck yeah. Kino was huge. I remember we were rocking out to that music. I like a lot of their songs. One of their albums was, I can't think of a name now, title, but that was That was insane. They were super popular, and then especially their song "Our Hearts Demand Changes," "Перемен требуют наши сердца." Yeah, he had a lot of good songs. Too bad he died so young or got killed so young. So okay, so we got explanation. We know what green stands for. We know what blue stands for. Thanks so much for explaining. Was dacha hard to get? If you have blood, it's always about knowing people, knowing local collective farm uh, manager, I'd say, stuff like that. So not like depending, of course, what kind of level of dacha. A lot of people's dacha will be like a little shed or a shipping container, and then you have a plot. Like real dacha will be in a lake, nice house, maybe even, well, I don't think it'll be indoor plumbing, but it'll be outhouse, but some house that you can. So, like a lot of elites, Soviet bureaucrats, they actually had the government dacha. So there'll be state will build a house, and you get like dacha with your position. Then if you move on, the dacha somebody else will get it. So that was happening like that. Okay. Brian comments that the mix of Soviet and modern buildings in Kiev was strange. Well, if you would go on the outskirts of Kiev, where I live, there'll be all these projects looking like in Chicago projects, all looking high rise, apartment high rises. Downtown Kiev is definitely, there's a mixture of Soviet and then the before revolution. And so, yeah, that's a quite a mixture. They don't have this whole system yet worked out. Like there's a specific, you need to match your old new construction with styles next to you. So they'll get there, but maybe it will be too late. And of course, the only Soviet Union, especially like in Moscow, they raid so many historical buildings to put giant, wide roads, and they're big. Okay, we're moving along. Was Eurovision broadcasted in the USSR? And towards the end, we started getting quite a bit of more videos and everything else from the West, so I think so. I remember big deal was on the New Year Eve, they'll play some German music show. I don't remember the name. Thomas, maybe something. Oh, there was something about box. I don't remember the names, but there were some like shows from Germany or from England, and there'll be like this modern, people singing, and so that was a cool thing to watch. And at that time, like modern talking was so popular, so we were all waiting, like, what kind of new modern talking songs we're gonna listen. And I remember one time it was a song "Give Me Peace on Earth," and that didn't go. Like we were expecting some nice dance beat, and that was just slow, boring song. Okay, we're moving along. What did Soviet people think about U.S. space program? I mean, we just thought we were way advanced. I mean, the shuttles were cool, but they were not as practical as what we did. That's kind of my thinking. But of course, like if you look at the Mars and the Moon, then Americans, of course, beat us big time. And it's kind of, I totally don't mind this type of race. Space race, it's created a lot of good things for the world generally, new technologies, and, way better than the arms race. That's just a huge waste of money. Okay, we got some viewers found out that their neighbors live next to each other in Ohio. Maybe one day when we have enough people interested, maybe we can come up with some idea to have a meetup. I have one person asking if I'm planning any. I was like, I honestly don't know where anyone lives. I live in Southwest Michigan, it's right here, and I don't know how much people are willing to drive to meet me. So anyway, so it's maybe one day. Someone, so the no solitaire on computers. I don't remember any on the earlier computers. What I played for a while on the computers when I worked, there was this game. There's like a frame, and you have a one ball is bouncing, and you need to cut, like make it trapped in one little tiny cell. And of course, if you ball is touching your cutter, then you lose. Then it gets harder. You got two balls, three balls, and then you have this tons of balls bouncing over. You need to keep on cutting it to trap it. It was kind of fun game actually. I don't remember the name, but I remember that was the one I played for a little bit. If you're interested in game in early years in Russia, watch Curse of the Grey Elephant. I said I was too busy trying to survive at that time, so I didn't have time for video games. You know, the kids, maybe the school age kids, they were playing. Hey, were there any street stands that sold snacks in the USSR? Well, not snacks and but be like piroshkis, ice cream. So yeah, we'll have some of those. No hot dogs, nothing like that. You made a video about Soviet film. What are some Soviet movies that you like and were popular? I believe I have several videos about. There's quite a few movies that worth watching. I probably should make maybe just kind of just show them one after one and have a list. There's a lot of them now posted on YouTube. Finally, those movie studios figure out that they can make some money posting stuff on YouTube. Um, oh, I mean, it depends what you like. Um, you know, a lot of our movies they won't make any sense to watch because they show like a life in the Soviet village and it's all about local drama. And you know, if you don't know details, you might won't get it. There are some movies that more like about American spies in Soviet Union. I think that will be kind of cool to watch how they show Americans in USSR. Can't think the name of it now, but that was kind of one was pretty funny. They getting ready to send the spy, so that's kind of we're talking about late 80s, you know, and they needed to send a spy into Soviet Union, so they scrambled trying to find some Soviet clothing for the guy, and some specialist, you know, I guess like the guy who lived used to live in Soviet Union. He's like, "Are you crazy? If you want your spy to look cool, he needs to have American Levi's, you know, Adidas shoes, and people would respect him, and they'll think it's so cool." And that's what they did. So they and then they show how everyone's like, "Wow, nice outfit, dude," and that was actually I thought it was really funny. Um, he bought a Pepsi. So he's catching a ride, and everyone stops, gives him a ride because guy looks so cool, you know. And so he drinks the Soviet-made Pepsi, and he's like, "Wow, it tastes almost like real one." And they look at him like, "What? You tasted the real Pepsi?" And he's like, "Yep." So all this kind of thing, you know, he's American spy, and he's saying things that people just think it's so he's so cool because he actually know the taste of real Pepsi. Okay, which Western music groups were big in USSR when you were growing up? ABBA, of course, was huge. Scorpions was big. People who like rock music, of course, Deep Purple. I never liked the AC/DC. I never liked them. But there's people, you know, if you're a rock person, then you like rock music. I said Pink Floyd. I only started liking way later. I never liked Pink Floyd. But Russia mostly is like a techno disco. That's what popular. So modern talking, a lot of these Western German bands like CC Catch, Joy. You probably guys never heard of them, but you know it's stuff like that. So I wasn't really into the music a lot, but Pet Shop Boys. I remember that was popular. Sandra. I had a crush on Sandra. Sandra from Germany. Oh my goodness. She just took my heart and she never returned it. How expensive was flying in the USSR? It was pretty pricey. I mean, consider the size of the Soviet Union. So, like, you know, if you fly from Moscow to New York and you fly from Moscow to Vladivostok, which is opposite side of Russia at the same time, it takes like 7 hours or 8 hours. So, tickets were pretty expensive. So, only like waitresses or taxi drivers could afford it. Regular person was usually taking a train. Train was way cheaper. Okay, what else we got here? Actually, if you guys want a good Soviet movie, it's a late Soviet movie. It's called The Thief, War. It's available. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but it's available on one of the streaming services because we just looked it up yesterday. with my wife, but they didn't have any subtitles. So it's in Russian, but I think that show is amazing. I like that movie so much. Called The Thief, the person that steals stuff and has a picture of a little kid, cute little kid. Hello from Scotland, UK. Hi Chris, I was in Scotland a long time ago in '88. I was actually in Stirling and Edinburgh, and I had a chance to visit Johnny Walker factory there. So that was pretty cool. Okay, we keep on going. We need to get 200 likes, and that'll be awesome. If you guys can do that, let's see where we're at. We got trying to catch up with questions. Did you like Victor Tsoi? I mean, I like his music. I didn't know him personal, but yes. Hello from New York City. You got Canada here. What is your favorite Soviet classic song? I didn't like any classical music for a long time. The first classical music like I actually started liking was actually Vivaldi, The Seasons. But my what I like in classical, I like classical music. I don't like any classical songs. Period. It just never was good with me. So we talked about Kino. I'll make the video about it one sometime. Right now, I have already my video about Soviet anthem. It's ready, so we're gonna launch it maybe on Wednesday, and then there'll be Amish straw breaking Soviet back part two because we had some good questions I wanted to answer. So that's my videos coming up. Is analysis of the Soviet anthem. So that's probably about Wednesday, and then Amish straw breaking the Soviet back will be later because I'm going out of town. We're heading out up north to Sheboygan area to do some camping. In Soviet Union, if you have vacation, you go down south. Um, in America, you go north for your summer vacation because it's way too hot. Okay. Yep. Everyone. I mean, that was the thing. There was not a lot of bands, so when the Kino came up and music was good and words were good, everyone liked Kino. It was a they were the first one kind of to play that style of music and like a light rock again, but it was a lot was the uh, no, I never listened to Dedo Archil. I had no idea who's the guy and all that Torlolo meme. I'm completely not familiar with it. I'm surprised how much is people like all over that here. Okay, so as I already answered the question, I was not conscripted. I went to college, and then when I had a break between college, they tried to conscript me, but I didn't pass. My eyes are too poor, so I never served. I never got conscripted. Would you recommend Minsk? I honestly don't know. I never been in Minsk. I don't think it's not that old as Kiev, so I don't think there's much to see there, honestly. But I might be wrong. So I don't know anything about Minsk, Belarus. Watching from Los Angeles, vodka so much better chilled. I guess I'll agree with you on that. Now it's all about how you grew up. Like now, I started putting vodka in the fridge or freezer before drinking, but we never did that back in Ukraine. You don't have time for that. You buy vodka in the store and you open up, start drinking. They don't sell vodka chilled. I mean, that will be a lot of Russians. If there's like on the way out of supermarket, they have a little coolers and they have pop. If you start seeing there little bottles of vodka, then there's a lot of Russians in town. But no. Okay, so sarcasm is the art and it's hard to master. I think you have it down. Thank you. Sometimes I don't mean to, but sometimes it comes out that way. I sometimes I totally dead serious will say something and people think it's so hysterical. We didn't have any shelters in the Soviet schools. I mean, we had a basement in my school, but that was like for shooting area, tir, like a little shooting range. But it wasn't. We really didn't have any. I guess Soviets were practical. They realized like if there's a if the stuff goes down, nuclear like nuclear attack, there's no point Might as well just find the location of the closest cemetery, start crawling that way, because you won't survive. Okay, what else we got here? People discussing vodka, how they freeze it. Greetings from Latvia. Was the KGB just as bad as Stasi? I don't think so. Germany had way smaller country and they were so close to the West Germany, so I think they had to really penetrate the whole society. Soviet Union was way and out, kind of far away, so they didn't have to work that hard. And another thing, like the cultural life in Soviet Union is so limited to big cities. You have pretty much Moscow, Leningrad, Kiev, Minsk, couple more big cities. That's it. Otherwise, there was not much going on for the rest of the country. So, was there much imported alcohol available? No. Besides, the we had Cuban rum once a great while, but we didn't have any vodka, any alcohol from other countries. We had only our own vodka and our own wine. I don't recall anything imported, except when some people, uh, they will be out other countries. I remember one guy, friend of mine, his father was a military officer, so he brought some weird alcohol from some Arab country, and it was like snake inside of the bottle was alcohol. So you like drink whatever that drink was, and then you eat pieces of snake as a snack. I have no idea what kind of alcohol was it, but that was bizarre. Um, how much does American dollar equal to Russian ruble these days? I believe about 60 rubles for $1, and in Ukraine it's about 30 grivnas for $1. Last week I tried Smirnoff new cucumber lime vodka, very disappointing. Turned slushy because I think it's watered down. It's only 30 proof instead of normal 40, so yeah, it will freeze on you. So you need to look at the proof. If anything is below 40, you'll get it slushy probably because it has more water. We have original gamer claiming that he likes fat chicks and sue me. Well, everyone got their preferences. I was told they are really hard to pick up. So good luck if you like fat chicks. Uh, Have you seen fabulous Russian movie Night Watch? Trying to remember. I'm Nocnoy Dozor. People turning into different. I think I might did. Maybe I didn't watch the whole thing. Sounds familiar, but I cannot tell you that. Vodka face could be a good name for the song, like a poker face. Yeah, I guess. Hello, hi, answer me, mate. I commented also writing for both 4 times. Hello, Rajat Sharma. How are you doing? I answer the questions. It's hard for me just to say hello to everyone who says hello. Is Khrushchev responsible for current problems in southern Ukraine? I believe he is dead for a long time. I don't think so. I mean, you can look at the history. I believe a lot of the southern part of Ukraine, like we're talking more eastern part of Ukraine, like southern Crimea, it's a different story. A lot of eastern Ukraine during the hunger Holodomor of 30s, there's so many Ukrainians died out. So the Soviet government moved a lot of Russians in there. So that's kind of created a lot of Russian-speaking population, which is more leaning towards Russia. That's what I remember reading, but I might be wrong. My grandpa had a hunting rifle when he was in USSR. Okay, we're about an hour into, so we'll need to be wrapping up. Thank you guys for joining me. How were the Baltic countries viewed within USSR? Well, it's a big difference how it was viewed in Moscow versus how it was viewed in Kiev. We kind of, in Ukraine, it felt kind of similar, that they were forced into the Soviet Union, and general opinion was that not that super friendly to Russians. I remember before we were heading out to Riga, and it was like 1987. We were told like, hey, if you ask something in Russian while you in Riga trying to buy something at the store, they're just gonna ignore you. But if you ask in Ukrainian, they will serve you. So that was kind of strange, but we didn't have a problem speaking Russian in Riga. But I was surprised to find out so many older people had really strong accent. They didn't speak good Russian. That was kind of shocking to me. Were you there when where were you? I was in Kiev, Ukraine when Soviet Union collapsed. I lived in Ukraine till 1999. What is your opinion on Nadia Savchenko? I have no idea who is Nadia Savchenko. Okay, we got. See, we have another question. Whoa, we got from Canadian $50 donation for your next video. You should put all donation in the end credits to show the support. If I know how to do it, I will definitely will do it. So thank you so much. This is a red code red support. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. So we're definitely making sexual education in the Soviet Union. Got some good stories about that. Although I'm totally innocent and I lost my virginity past 20, it's really embarrassing. But okay, it is what it is. I have to tell something really secret if I have a code red donation. If I knew how to put in credits, I will. Right now, I honestly it's too fast of the pace, but I definitely thank you so much, Mr. JR9979. So, all right. Can you watch some Soviet movies on stream like Kavkazskaya Plenitsa? I don't know, man. Those shows, like right now, with all this blocking and copyrights, this is like a nightmare. Like my basic videos, when I don't put any music and anything else, it's just like, holy cow, what's going on? I said my Amish video was, hey, even my little short video about my Instagram, I was telling people like, hey, if you want to see pictures from my childhood and my grandparents and stuff, watch my Instagram. That thing was blocked from monetization. So yeah, YouTube is going nuts. It's just so unfair. I don't know what's going on with them. It's just like this was totally neutral video, and the Soviets called the girl a suka in Stranger Things. Well, I guess she was bad girl because you won't call a good girl suka. They probably were extremely upset with her. That's what happens. Okay, I'll see again. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't really catch up with. Oh, she broke into their base. Interesting. Usually that's the guys that go for the third base in case of the girl. If the girl go for their base, that she probably was suka. Um, Paul is just coming. I just jump on the bottom of the uh, stream for the questions. Yeah, it's like I upload the video and it's automatically like automatic. So YouTube first, has some algorithm. It looks at the videos, and I guess I'm on their naughty list. So it's automatically because boom has a yellow dollar sign says, hey, you're blocked, but you can complain. You file a complaint, but complaint doesn't kick in until you have 1,000 views. So that video was pretty slow. You know, that was just like pretty much little infomercial. Hey, I just want to let people know I have a Instagram. So uh, it took almost I don't know when I put the video up. It took about a week to get 1,000 views. Then they looked at it and then they said, okay, you're blessed. Man, you can have your monetization. And sometimes, like I had quite a few videos in the same situation with yellow dollar sign, but because my channel was hidden for a long time, was 3,000 or 5,000 viewers, and old videos nobody's watching a lot of times, unfortunately. So I had several videos people didn't see. They had monetization blocked for 2-3 years because I couldn't get. It's 1,000 views in 7 days. So if the video is way back recorded 3 years ago, how fast you think you could get 1,000 views? Only now when the channel kind of exploded after Chernobyl exploded, um, I started getting these emails from YouTube like, "Hey, good news, your video unblocked." I look at like, my goodness, that video was blocked for 3 years. Thanks. So yeah, their policies is just crazy. So we got Sean donated. Thank you, Sean. Keep making videos. I am. I actually enjoy making them too, and I'm glad that you guys can learn something new. So yeah, that was a kind of bizarre. And there's my video about Andropov, one of the Soviet leaders. It's it just I tell the story what I know about him. How he started making a lot of changes in Soviet Union, like making more like back to Stalin era. That video permanently blocked from monetization, and I was like, what the heck? My video, which is kind of edgy, was edgy. Uh, Hello, Sasha Fishman. Добрый вечер. We got a good day here, but thanks. Um, is that okay to begin USSR? Whoever was a person watching the video, checking the video from YouTube, they're like, yeah, it's funny. He can make money on that video. Video about Andropov, like, no, can't. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I would personally say I expected a video about gay situation in Soviet Union to be blocked, but no, it wasn't. And then, so yeah, it's just so strange. Sometimes you just like, man, uh, okay, so I'll probably be wrapping up. Thank you guys for joining once again. As I said, we'll have a couple videos will be ready to go. You can always, after this video, will get processed because YouTube needs to, again, to check it all out. Uh, then you can post your questions there. You can always also drop a donation at PayPal and put your question there. So I don't think I missed some of. Are Ukrainian and Russians easily understandable to each other? Every Ukrainian understands Russian, but not every Russian understands Ukrainian, if it makes any sense, because most Ukrainians, it's their second language. And there's right now quite a horrible attitude due to this Russian propaganda. A lot of Russians like truly hate Ukrainians. And, I was like, why? This is like Ukraine took a part of the Kamchatka region from you. Like, why you hate Ukrainians? You took Crimea from Ukraine and you hate Ukrainians. It's one thing if Ukraine would move in and just occupy Kamchatka or Don region or something like that. But yeah, they just a lot of like pure hate, and it's unbelievable because we used to be like closest Slavic brothers as Ukrainians and Russians, and at the same time, there's quite a few Ukrainians they pissed because of that situation with Crimea and Eastern Ukraine, like people who live in Ukraine, which it always goes like that. Yeah, I bet you if the Mexico will occupy Texas, I don't think Americans will be excited about Spanish language. Uh, was Mexico, Texas originally belonged to Mexico? I don't remember. So anyway, well, I'll be wrapping up. Thank you guys for joining. I will check your questions, and if I see something that is good, we'll make a video about it. So once again, thank you so much for joining me. It was fun. So thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon. До свидания. Goodbye.